We approach the events of Friday, January 9th, as a turning point where suspicion, fear, and miscalculation begin to collide, and we believe the fallout will be far more damaging than anyone anticipates. At the center of it all is Drew, whose impatience may end up costing him everything he thinks he is fighting for. From our perspective, Drew is no longer operating from a place of clarity or justice, but from a growing obsession with proving Michael's guilt. Once Alexis shares what she knows about Michael allegedly fabricating a false alibi, Drew's focus sharpens almost dangerously. He does not pause to consider whether this information is solid enough to withstand scrutiny in court. Instead, we see him rushing toward a confrontation, convinced that if he applies enough pressure at the right moment, the truth will be forced into the open. We do not defend Michael's past actions, and we are not blind to his capacity for manipulation. But based on the vague and inconsistent evidence currently available, we do not believe Michael is the one who shot Drew. The timeline is messy. Witness statements are unreliable, and the physical evidence leaves too many unanswered questions. What concerns us is that Drew appears ready to accuse Michael publicly, possibly during Willow's court proceedings, as if the courtroom were the ideal place to spring a theory that has not been fully tested. From our point of view, that would be a catastrophic mistake. Accusing Michael too aggressively, especially when emotions are already high, could backfire and undermine Drew's credibility. Judges do not respond well to emotional accusations disguised as certainty, and neither do juries. We predict that Drew's questioning will cross a line, making him look less like a victim seeking justice and more like a man desperate for revenge. That shift matters. Once Drew loses the moral high ground, everything he says becomes suspect. Even worse, Michael's legal team could seize on Drew's emotional instability to cast doubt on his entire account of the shooting. Instead of cornering Michael, Drew may end up strengthening Michael's defense, whether he means to or not. The tragedy here is that Drew might actually be close to the truth, just not the right truth, and his impatience could ensure that the real shooter remains hidden. At the same time, Alexis is navigating a far more delicate and calculated path. We believe she has already anticipated how volatile the courtroom could become and has quietly prepared Willow for what lies ahead. From our perspective, Alexis has devised a private strategy, a carefully constructed narrative that Willow must follow precisely when she takes the stand. This is not about lying outright, but about controlling the flow of information, choosing words with surgical precision, and avoiding emotional traps that prosecutors are likely to set. Alexis understands better than anyone that one poorly phrased sentence could unravel everything. Despite her confidence, we sense genuine worry beneath Alexis's composed exterior. Willow is not a natural performer, and she wears her emotions openly. If the judge presses too hard, or if Drew's accusations grow louder, Willow could panic and say something that contradicts previous statements. We believe Alexis fears that scenario more than anything. She knows the law can only protect Willow if Willow protects herself first. That means resisting the urge to explain too much, to defend herself emotionally, or to react to provocation. Alexis's role here is not just legal counsel, but emotional anchor. And even she may not be able to control every variable once the proceedings begin. While this legal storm builds, Sunny appears to be preparing for a very different kind of confrontation. We think Sunny is likely to speak with Gio, possibly seeking information rather than comfort. Sunny has always understood that power comes from knowing what others do not, and at this moment, he senses movement in the shadows. Although Sonny wants to help Michael, we believe his priorities may need to shift. Helping Michael could wait. Protecting himself cannot. Enemies rarely announce their plans. And for what we can tell, Sonny's enemies are closer than he realizes. We predict that someone else will approach Sonny soon, possibly with a warning disguised as a casual conversation. Sonny has been in this world long enough to recognize when the air changes, and we think he feels it now. The danger is that Sonny may underestimate how coordinated his enemies have become. If he spends too much time trying to clean up Michael's mess, he could leave himself exposed. From our perspective, Sonny's survival instincts will eventually kick in, but perhaps not before someone makes a move that forces his hand. Elsewhere, Kai's role in this unfolding drama is becoming increasingly significant. We believe Kai has started replaying the events of that night over and over, examining details he initially dismissed. Memory is a strange thing, and sometimes clarity arrives not through effort, but through exhaustion. As Kai retraces his steps mentally, we suspect he will uncover a detail that does not fit the official narrative. Whether it is a sound, a shadow, or a conversation that suddenly takes on new meaning, Kai is getting closer to something important. We also anticipate a crucial conversation between Kai and Drew, one that could shift audience perception dramatically. From what we can tell, Drew may reveal that fragments of memory from that night have resurfaced. These are not complete answers, but impressions that trouble him enough to seek confirmation. Kai, faced with this, may realize he knows more than he has admitted. If Drew hints at recognizing someone or sensing another presence that night, Kai may be forced to confront his own silence. Our hope is that Drew's recollection does not lead him to discover that Kai and Trina were at his house that night. If that truth emerges, the consequences could be devastating. We suspect that if Kai is cornered with that information, he may choose to confess, not out of malice, but desperation. In that scenario, Kai might attempt to redeem himself by offering to help Drew prove Michael's guilt, even if doing so violates his conscience. That would place Kai in an impossible position, torn between honesty and survival, between loyalty to friends and fear of legal repercussions. We believe this internal conflict will define Kai's storyline. Helping Drew could mean betraying Trina, damaging his own integrity, and aligning himself with a narrative he may not fully believe. Yet refusing to cooperate could expose him to charges or accusations that alter his future forever. From our perspective, Kai's struggle is not about choosing right or wrong, but about choosing which loss he can live with. Meanwhile, Dante's anxiety is beginning to surface in ways that suggest deeper trouble. We think Dante is haunted by the possibility that he made a critical mistake, one that led directly to Willow's arrest. If Willow is acquitted, Dante could face serious consequences, both professionally and personally. There's the looming threat that Willow might pursue legal action against him, arguing wrongful arrest or misconduct. Even if such a lawsuit never materializes, the mere possibility is enough to shake Dante's confidence. However, we suspect there may be another layer to Dante's fear. It is possible that his superiors are already scrutinizing his actions for a separate error, one that has nothing to do with Willow directly. In that case, Willow's situation becomes a convenient focal point, a way to assign blame and deflect attention from systemic failures. Dante may find himself isolated, realizing too late that loyalty within the department has limits. For someone who has always tried to do the right thing, this realization could be crushing. Laura's situation, on the other hand, feels darker and more personal. We believe she is being forced into compliance with an enemy who knows exactly where to apply pressure. This is not a battle of strength, but of leverage. Laura is being asked to meet demands she would normally reject without hesitation. And the reason is simple. Her family is being used against her. The threat is no longer abstract. It has names and faces. And among them is Charlotte. We think Laura understands that every concession she makes emboldens her enemy. Yet refusing could put her loved ones in immediate danger. This is the kind of moral trap that leaves no clean exit. Even as she tries to appear composed, we sense her fear growing, especially as she realizes that compliance may never be enough. Once someone learns they can control you through fear, they rarely stop at a single demand. Charlotte herself is moving closer to the center of the storm. We predict that her decision to visit her biological father again will not remain a secret for long. This time, circumstances are different, and the risk is higher. We believe Charlotte will be discovered, and that discovery will trigger a chain reaction leading to Valentine's arrest. What begins as a private family moment could rapidly escalate into a legal nightmare. The consequences will not stop with Valentine. Charlotte's involvement could draw Carly into the fallout, whether through association or attempts to intervene. Worse still, Brennan's desire for revenge could expand beyond his original target. From our perspective, Brennan is not interested in fairness or proportionality. He wants impact. If Carly becomes collateral damage in his pursuit of revenge, that may be a price he is willing to pay. As all these threads converge, we see a future filled with reckoning. Secrets are cracking under pressure, alliances are shifting, and motivations are becoming harder to disguise. What makes this moment so compelling is not just the question of who is guilty, but who will be destroyed in the pursuit of truth. We believe that Friday's episode will not deliver clear answers. Instead, it will deepen the conflict, forcing each character to reveal who they are when certainty disappears and fear takes its place.